David Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Sergeant at Arms. I'm David Jones, President, and I think I met all of our guests. We have Kara, who is from Wisconsin. She's looking to move to Charlotte soon. We have, all the pictures move around. Oh, there's Liz. She's a first timer. She also lives in Charlotte. And I believe everybody else is members. Oh, and then we have Travis. Hello, Travis. I believe you're in Charlotte too. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yes, I'm in Charlotte as well.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. And the reason we record the meetings is so we can all go back and check. It's not really for public display, but it's on our YouTube page, which is a link on our website. So you can just go back and see how well you did. And we have a full meeting tonight, so I want to go ahead and get it started. Right after I introduce all of our board members, like I said, Julian Efron is our new Sergeant at Arms. I have Parissa, who is Vice President of Education. We got Ali, who is Vice President of Membership. We got Balut, who is our Treasurer. And I'm sure I'm missing somebody. Looking at that, everybody. Did I miss any of our officers? No? Okay. And then our Toastmaster, Elise Levia, is our past president. So please welcome our Toastmaster for the night, Elise.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. President, and good evening, Queen City Toastmasters. Yes, it is my honor to be the past president, which means I officially have no more responsibilities, which feels pretty good. So glad you guys could all join us tonight, especially our guests and some of our members who haven't been on yet this year. And this is only my second meeting this year. I've been off for a little while. So I'm really happy to see everybody, excited for what looks like it's going to be a very full meeting. And my role as Toastmaster is partially to kind of guide us through our meeting tonight and partially to keep us on track, thinking about a common theme throughout the meeting. Now, Toastmaster Jones he's going to be our table topics master later this evening. And as we were kind of talking about the meeting, he brought up what his table topic theme was going to be. I thought it was very interesting. So I'm going to sort of base my theme for tonight off of what Toastmaster Jones is going to be doing in table topics. His table topics are going to revolve around nonverbal communication. So I thought maybe we could kind of get our juices flowing a little bit, thinking about nonverbal communication before we get to our table topics, so that we're nice and warmed up by the time we get there. He's going to do a little bit more of an introduction later, a little more specifics about everything that's involved in nonverbal communication. But I'm sure that we've all heard, David, maybe you can remind me, was it 80% of our communication is nonverbal? Something like that, some very high number as far as percentage of our communication is nonverbal. So a small portion of it is what we say, a really large portion of it is how we say it. That's a huge part of why we're here at Toastmasters, is to become more effective communicators. I think that by mastering and really being conscious of how we use the language, both, the tone, our rhythm, the emphasis that we place on words, as well as the words that we use, we can definitely learn to be way more effective speakers. We're going to get into that a little bit. I'm actually going to show you a video of somebody who I have seen speak recently. I think a lot of you have probably also heard her speak recently, that I was just in awe of her speaking, as well as especially her nonverbals. But before we get into that, get my mouse working on my floor here. I want to introduce our Toastmaster members who are going to be helping us through the evening tonight. First off, I'd like to welcome our grammarian, who is Angelica Ritter. Please welcome Toastmaster Ritter.
Good evening, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Tonight my role is going to be the grammarian, and I will be listening very carefully all speakers, and I will be listening for any language usage, taking note of any improper or outstanding words. I also will be introducing the word for tonight, and it's going to be conversation. I added, let me put it in the chat. I think I got it there, so you can conversation, meaning it's awkward, slow or complicated, and therefore inefficient. An example Could be something like an organization has cumbersome hierarchical structures. I will give my report at the end of the meeting, and I will also take a note of who used the word of the night. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ritter, for the introduction of the role of grammarian. Just a reminder to everyone to, yes, try to use the word cumbersome. That doesn't count. Just saying the word cumbersome doesn't count. We actually have to use it in our speeches in a way that you would use in ordinary conversation. So everybody keep that in mind. Next up is going to be our timer, and that is Toastmaster Mina Gadimi Nuran.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters, friends and guests. My name is Mina, and I'll be your timer this evening. As a timer, my role is to remind all the speakers that how much time they are spending for their speech. For this reason, I'm going to change my background color to the green, yellow, and red. For the prepared speech, we have 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes that the speech is long enough, I will turn my background to the green, and when it's at 6 minutes, I change it to yellow, and when it's 7 minutes, I turn it to red. Red means that you're out of time, but you still have 30 seconds in order to wrap up your speech. For the table topics, we have 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, that would be green, 1.5 yellow, and at 2 minutes, it turns to the red, but you still have 30 seconds. For the speech evaluators, we have 2 to 3 minutes. At the 2 minutes, it's green, 2.5 yellow, and at the 3 minutes is red, and we still have 30 seconds to wrap up. At the end, I'll be back to present my reports. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer. Definitely keep an eye out for Mina. If you haven't used the pin feature before, if you go up to your screen on the upper right, you should see 3 dots. If you right click on, or you click on those 3 dots, there should be an option to pin. So if you're speaking and you want to make sure that you can still see Mina, if you pin her, you'll still be able to see her while you're speaking, so you can keep an eye on her backgrounds that way. Perfect. Before we get into tonight's prepared speeches, I do want to share that little excerpt of the speech I was talking about earlier with you. As you watch, be thinking about how the speaker's nonverbals complement what she's saying. So that can encompass her pace, that can encompass her rhythm, vocal variety, things like pitch and tone, things like hand gestures, all of those things that go into communication that are so much more than the words. And if you've heard her speak in the last couple of weeks, you know that her words are also amazing. Give me 1 second and just give it a quick listen.
Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our
got my keystrokes backwards there. So that was just an amazing example of the timing that you can use to make your speech more effective with gestures and emphasis on words. So when she says like the hill we climb, like just emphasizing the words that she's using with kind of that pause before and just the emphasis on that. And she says something about like shatters and just giving that slight gesture of shattering with kind of that sharp noise that is shatter. It's very cool. So just in my mind, that was just an absolutely amazing indication of what you can do with your nonverbals and just how much you can put into your speech when you're really, really good at it. And I know she's a poet, and so she's automatically, I mean, she's incredible, and the words that she uses are wonderful. But I also think that as a spoken word poet, that she has really done an amazing job accenting those words that she has come up with nonverbals and gestures and rhythm and such. Anyway, my food for thought. But with that being said, and with that kind of rolling around in your brains, let's go ahead and get into our prepared speeches portion of the evening. Tonight we will have 3 speakers who will each be presenting a 5 to 7 minute speech from their different Pathways programs. Our first speaker is presenting from the Presentation Mastery Pathway. This is a level 2 project, and it's about understanding your communication style. Again, this is a 5 to 7 minute speech. The project title is There's Nothing You Can Do That Can't Be Done. And I had to try like hard not to sing that, like the Beatles song, but you guys don't want to hear me sing that because it's not good. But Toastmaster Natalie Alberto will be presenting the speech. She will be sharing her understanding of communication and leadership styles. Again, this is Toastmaster Natalie Alberto. There's nothing you can do that can't be done.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. It's my pleasure to be here with you this evening. And Elise, you nailed it. That was the Beatles. I was going to ask everyone if they knew who said or sang that, and you nailed it. So with that said, what does that mean to you when you hear it? Anyone?
It means I can do anything.
Right.
It's very inspirational.
Who else? Anyone else have any other ideas?
It means I'm going for the sky.
Amazing. That's what it means to me. It means we're limitless. And who knows the chorus? Anyone want to sing it? I'll sing it for you. All we need is love. That's one of the most catchiest phrases. All we need is love. And you're probably wondering, what is she talking about love tonight in a conversation that has to do about communication and leadership? And at first glance, it probably seems a little bit odd, but I want to invite you to take a step back together with me so that we can get a bird's eye view and look at it from a larger perspective. I'll let you know what love's got to do with it. Little nod there to Miss Tina Turner. I am a big fan of music and great leaders, and she's up there with them. But I'll tell you what love's got to do with it, why understanding yourself is essential, and why understanding others as well is powerful. About 5 years ago, I became obsessed with the concept of healthy. Not health in the sense of fitness, but healthy in the global holistic sense on how do you execute a healthy life in every area, from finances to food to fitness to healthy relationships, be it family, be it romance, be it friends, whatever it may be. I wanted to know from a globally minded perspective what leads to success. So I set out on a mission to understand this further. And I took a deep dive into each of these categories. I want to share my career background with you all. I've spent 15 years working in public relations and marketing, and I've had the privilege in my career to work with global leaders, top leaders in the world. I've worked at one of the top 5 PR agencies in the nation, working with clients such as Target, CoverGirl, and most recently, I was in-house at Celebrity Cruises. I had the opportunity to be close to these leaders and witness how clearly they communicated. They shared vision with their teams. They set clear goals, and they were committed and determined. So they led by example. These were all amazing qualities, and I realized that these were tools and strategies that they were implementing to drive unity and bring success forward. But there was still something deeper that I needed to uncover. So I continued my global quest for health, and I, again, was looking at it through various lenses, having the opportunity to be close to some of these world changers. And what I took away was that love is at the core of every interaction. Love in the sense of care. And that made sense to me because at a fundamental level, we as humans want to be seen, heard, and understood. And that's something that each of these leaders did very well. So when I took it back a step further, I said, well, if you have love for yourself and you master yourself, you're going to have a healthy relationship with fitness as well as with food, because you'll set realistic targets and you'll have a compassionate pursuit. If you have a loving relationship with money, you'll end up manifesting it in respect of your earnings. So you see, what I took away is that myself and all of us are guilty of limiting love to the romantic sense. It's something that's quite common in society. But I found that love is actually much larger than that. It is doing what is for the greater good, caring for both yourself and for someone else. The other area where we've pigeonholed ourselves or become cumbersome is in communication and leadership. We tend to think that these are limited to the workplace, but again, much bigger than that. We lead in our daily lives with our families, with our friends, in the activities we participate in, and most importantly, ourselves. We're the leaders of our own lives. And by the way, I want to clarify that being a leader does not mean that you're the boss. You have the ability to lead from any position in any organization, in any family structure, in friendships. You can lead from the bottom up. You could be in the middle. Being a leader is to inspire. In healthy functioning systems, again, what I found is that love was at the core. That is the leader that I am striving to be: compassionate, caring, and courageous. Love requires hard things. It's not the misconception that it's just the fluffy, airy-fairy, for lack of a better word to express it. It is to have difficult conversations and to truly open your heart and mind to speak with others and evaluate from their perspective. It's also to get out of your own way and master the self so that you can remove any biases that impede progress. The Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, "Knowing others is wisdom, knowing yourself is power." I want to remind you of who you all are today. Nothing you can do that can't be done. You are capable of everything. All you need is love. Remember that and let love guide. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Alberto. I think that's something that's so hard is, we're so, as leaders, we tend to be so very empathetic and giving and kind to others, but showing that same kindness and that same love to yourself can be really challenging. So it's a really important thing for us to remember. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I do want to really quick, before we get on to our second speaker, just recognize a guest that just joined us. David says his name is Harry. Hey, Harry. They know each other from hiking. So everyone say hey to Harry, and we'll chat with you later a little bit. Perfect. Our second speaker is speaking from the Dynamic Leadership Pathway. This is a level 3 speech. The project is entitled Negotiate the Best Outcome. Again, this is also a 5 to 7 minute speech. And the speech title is High Stakes Negotiation. Our speaker is Turger Balut, and Balut will give a speech on how he prepared for a high stakes negotiation and walked away with something unexpected. Again, this is Toastmaster Turger Balut, High Stakes Negotiation.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. About 6 months ago, an email popped up in my inbox, and it said, "Your lease renewal is due in 2 months." And I knew that was going to be an interesting process. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to stay. I think I wanted to stay, but I wasn't sure because I talked to friends and they said they're moving and they've also negotiated with other people and they got a deal. So I was like, what if my rent goes up, doesn't go up? What's going to happen? I was unsure and I didn't know what to do. And a couple of days later, I got the proposal on our rent, and surprise, there's no raise on our rent. I was expecting a raise on the rent. And I said, wow, this is great. Like, I could just sign this and be done. There's no cumbersome moving and I could be all set. But I knew from work that I'd been engaging in negotiation conversations, and this is an opportunity for raising the stakes and making this something more important. Instead of having a hum day, I could turn this into an adventure. And at the end of the day, you never try, you never know. So I decided to negotiate my rent. My first instinct was to go downstairs, pound my fist on the table and say, I demand a 10% cut to my rent. And if you don't give it to me, I'm leaving today. But deep inside, I knew that wasn't going to work. At the end of the day, me and my partner, we're one of many residents at our apartment complex. So we could leave and it could be a blip for the facility to lose one tenant. They'll probably fill it back in a couple of weeks, and Charlotte is a growing market, so no big deal for them. But more importantly for me, there's no good if I even get the decreased rate, because then with that approach, if my light bulb goes out, they're gonna be very grumpy and probably not gonna give me the best service. And I'm already annoyed by the light bulbs they changed. The colors don't match. So this could only get worse. So I decided there's got to be a better way. This is a lose-lose situation. I'm going to switch my focus to a win-win situation. How can I make that happen? So I thought I'm going to use the things that I've learned at work. I'm going to prepare. I'm going to approach with a can-do attitude and work towards a common solution, something that both me and the apartment complex managers want. So as a first step, I went and did market research. I looked at other facilities prices. I went and visited, got quotes. And what I've learned through the process, I actually have a pretty good rate. So, and it didn't got a raise. So I'm really pushing here. And I really don't need to get a better rate, but I just want to. I want to raise the stakes for myself and put myself in that uncomfortable situation. And I also knew that there's very little wiggle room and I'm getting a market fair rate. So I started to make a list of things that I could ask for that are monetary. And if I get a discount, that's great. But if not, there are other things that I could get. So like a parking spot, like getting a reserved parking spot, or waiving some of the ancillary fees. So I made those lists just so that I have them in my back pocket. So preparation stage, done. Next stage, actually have the conversation. So I went downstairs with a very positive attitude and I said, hey, I would like to have a conversation about the renewal offer that you all have sent. I'm really glad that the rate didn't go up because as a resident, I really like being here and I like the facilities and I like the service I get. And I'd love to stay here. And I thought that we could find a mutual solution for for making this even more attractive for me. Is there anything that you can do to lower my rent? And I thought I nailed this, but I rehearsed it. And the first answer I got was no. No, why? But I knew I couldn't let it stop there. This was high stakes negotiation. I need to get something out of this. So I asked, why? Can you give me a little bit more on why you're saying no? And that turned out to be a great positive conversation. She said, it's not really in my hands. There's a software that determines the price, and I'm not the key decision maker here. I just work, I have to work with the prices I get here. And I said, okay, that's great. Is there any area where you have flexibility? And then she started bringing ideas. She said, well, there are other units in the same apartment with the same layout, $100 cheaper than yours. You could move there and the dates work out. I can make the dates move around and make it work for you. And I said, that's great. I asked the key question, what else? Because moving, even in the same apartment building, is cumbersome, and I didn't want to do it. And she said, oh, there are other things I could do, like waive the parking spot fee. I was like, oh, that's great. And I asked, like, what if you did that for me and for my partner, and one of them was a reserved spot? And she said, no, I can't do that. That's going too far. And I said, okay, fine. So your offer is same apartment, free parking spot, or new apartment, cheaper, but you have to move. And she said, yes. So I knew that conversation had to end there on positive terms. I have options now. And I went back to my apartment, talked to my partner. And then we said, at the end of the day, we want to stay. We don't want the hassle. And let's just take the free parking spot and go. So I went down there and I said, look, thank you for your offer. Everything is great. I'll say yes right now and save you the wait of 2 months if you give me the parking spot and the reserved spot. And she said yes on the spot as well. And I wanted a cheaper price, but I walked away with a free parking spot and a really good location, reserved parking spot. So I don't have to carry my groceries bags for a very long time now. So all that to say, I'm glad I raised the stakes, and I'm glad I approached this from a win-win perspective. And now, with all those benefits, I have a relationship as well. Anytime I see her in the hallway, we exchange greetings, ask each other how we are, and go on with our dates, rather than I just signed it and moved on with my life. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Yay. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Balut. Would not have crossed my mind that it's like a thing to negotiate for your rent. So in my mind, that is like a set, fixed, in a box thing that you don't have any choices on. But apparently the message I'm taking home is everything's negotiable. You just have to keep asking. Awesome. Thank you so much. And Allie, are you ready? Third speaker. Oh gosh, there you are. I saw your other non-person thing. I see you now. Hey. Perfect. Our third speaker is Ali Tobin. He is also giving a 5 to 7 minute speech. He is in the motivational speaking pathway. This is also a level 2 project. Understand your communication style. And his speech is called The Fear of Fear. Again, this is Toastmaster Ali Tobin, The Fear of Fear.
Thank you, fellow Toastmaster. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and fellow guests. I have another screen down there because for my speech today, what I'm actually going to do is share a slide that I made. Trying to get creative here. You guys see that? All right. So, why did I choose this speech called The Fear of Fear? I chose this speech because 2020 has been one of the most interesting years, I believe, of all our lives. I feel as though there is a lot of good things that can come out of this, And there's a quote next to this by Winston Churchill called, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." And I feel like every single person in here can take opportunity of this crisis, because a crisis brings a level of abundance that you never thought you would have. First, I want to talk about fear. False evidence appearing real. I believe it's something that we all deal with in life. It's something that stops us from doing a lot of things in life. It's something that I've had to deal with in the past. It's something that I feel like every successful person has dealt with, and every successful person fights this every day. But I do feel like the number one cause of fear is people who are scared to succeed. But first, I'm going to give you the definition of fear. It's a feeling of agitation, anxiety caused by the presence or imminence of danger, a feeling of distress, apprehension, or alarm caused by an impending danger, pain, an emotion, experience, and anticipation of some specific pain or danger, usually accompanied by a desire to flee or flight. Now, if you notice, every single sentence I said was a feeling. So these are thoughts in your head. So I'm going to continue my speech, and I'm going to come back to these thoughts in my head, and I want you to remember this definition. Now, when I say in order to be successful, you have to fail, it's something that we all have to deal with. In order to fail, in order to succeed, you must fail first. Nobody starts anything off perfect. And I think the number one reason why people are afraid is they're afraid of failing. It's something that people don't like dealing with. It's something that we just saw get blasted on TV, that people don't like dealing with failure. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But it's something that you need to become successful. I'm going to give you a quote that I go by. It's one of my favorite Bible quotes. Is I've come to you may have life, and that you may have it more abundantly. So my whole thing is that if you never follow your dreams, if you never pursue, you never know. You never know the life of abundance that you'll have. And so I'm just going to give you some people who you all know who have failed. This is Michael Jordan. Everybody knows Jordan. This is the GOAT, even though I'm a LeBron James fan. And he says, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games 26 times. I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed." So I look at somebody like Michael Jordan, who is 6-0 in the finals, and we all think of Michael Jordan as a super successful person. But here Michael Jordan is saying that I failed way more times than I've succeeded. But people don't realize that it took me to go through these failures to get where I got. Another person, Kevin Hart, he says, "I got 19 years of the word no, not good enough. You don't get the part." He says, "You don't need permission of a higher level to make you feel that you can do what you want to do. In today's time, it's just about you realizing your own potential. At any point in my life, I didn't think I'm going to stop. My goals are high, and I got people who I look up to. That's why you see me." Now, here's another super successful person. He's telling everybody he's gotten told no so many times. And just like Blue just got his story and he was told no, but they wasn't worried about the one no. Only thing you have to be worried about is the one yes. So when you're out here and you're getting told no, or you're just feeling like something's not giving, know that it's possible. And we have a lot of examples that it's possible to make it. So never be worried about no, just be worried about one yes. And I want to give you a quote by Will Smith. He says, "Fear kills your ability to see beauty," because you'll never know what's really out there. And the beauty is your potential, which is limitless as the sky. But if you allow fear to eat you alive, you'll really never be able to see what you could have accomplished. And I'm going to give you an example of somebody who, his anniversary of him passing just passed away. This is Kobe Bryant. And this is one of the most fearless people that I know. And he says, if you're afraid to fail, then you're probably going to fail. Now, Kobe Bryant passing was a very sad thing. And it's something that I believe that taught us all a lesson. That number one, Kobe's life taught me personally that you don't play around with life, that you have to squeeze every single minute, every single second out of life. And he had more to accomplish, but I look back at his life and I say he accomplished a lot to get done. And so how do I conquer my fears? So this is how I conquer my fears. My uncle once told me a story. I was going to a meeting. It was going to be a lot of wealthy people, and I was scared to go. And I told my uncle, I went on the Zoom meeting and I left. And I called my uncle and I was like, I don't know why I was scared. I just felt like I wasn't supposed to be in that environment. And my uncle said, "Did you die?" And I said, "No." And he said, "What are you scared of?" And I said, "You know what? You're right." So the way I conquer my fears is I'm not dead, I'm still alive, so I have nothing to be scared of. And I want you guys to listen to this quote by Les Brown. This is very powerful because he says, "Imagine if you were being on your deathbed and standing around you are the ghosts of the ideas, the dreams, the abilities, the talents given to you by life. And if for whatever reason you never acted on those ideas, you never pursued that dream, you never used those talents, we never saw your leadership, you never used your voice, you never wrote that book, and they were standing around you, around your bed, looking at you with large angry eyes, saying that we came to you and only you could have given us life. Now we must die with you forever." And the question is, if you die today, what ideas, what dreams, what abilities, what talents, what gifts would die with you? And that's very major because a lot of people die not fulfilling their full potential. So I want everybody here to try to fulfill their full potential every single day. Now, how can you conquer fear? You must learn to get uncomfortable. You must put yourself in uncomfortable situations. In order to succeed, you must learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So reading helps, praying helps, podcast helps. All that stuff helps you guys conquer fear to succeed. But the number one thing is you must take action. You must commit first and figure the rest out later, and pull the trigger and take massive action. And you can turn your dreams into a reality right now. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tobin. It's actually, you can't have any way of knowing. Applying for like a really competitive, very tough job coming up this month. And so this timing, I took a picture of that Les Brown quote, and that was really great reminder that we are given so much, and we all have, the talents and the dreams and the skills that we have that are only ours to give. And if we don't share those with the world, if we don't let that light shine, then nobody else is going to. So thanks. That was an amazingly well-timed reminder. I appreciate it. Can we please get a timer's report for our 3 speakers?
Yes. Natalie had 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Bulut had 7 minutes and 20 seconds. And Ali had 7 minutes and 21 seconds.
Awesome.
Thank
you so much. So that means all 3 of our speakers have made it within their allotted time period. You'll see a voting ballot that just popped up in front of you. Go ahead and vote for the speaker whom you think did the best job with their speech. I'll give you guys a few seconds to go through that. All right, kind of looks like most people are done. Awesome. So let's get into the exciting, fun part. We've kind of been building a little bit of suspense here for our table topics. I'm going to go ahead and get it turned over to our table topics master, our esteemed president, Toastmaster David Jones. Toastmaster Jones.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I appreciate it. Before I get going, I just wanted to recognize, like you already did, Harry. He's polite enough to let us call him Harry because if you look at his name, none of us can pronounce his name. I believe he's from India. And we've been hiking, and one of the great things that Harry did for me is we only went hiking once up at Crowder's Mountain. And I don't know if he is aware what he does, but he literally says hello to every single person he passes. There's probably 100 people. And he's like, hello, hello. And I'm like, okay. So I try to say hello because of Harry. It just kind of stuck in my mind how polite and how welcoming that was. Now, tonight as Toastmaster, we usually call on random people to do a speech for 1 to 2 minutes. But as Elise said, we have a little theme tonight, and we're going to be talking about nonverbal communication. And here at Toastmaster Queen City, we're very fortunate because it is Toastmasters International. And Queen City is unique because of our members and our guests. You know, we have 2 members from Iran. We have 1 member from Turkey. We have an officer who's not here. He's from Dominican Republic. We have someone from Colombia, and we have a guest from India. And all of these individuals, English is not their first language. And that got me thinking about nonverbal communication. And Elise was close. Our spoken word is only 7% of our elements of personal communication. I am reading off paper. It's very cumbersome, but I don't know if that counts. 38% is our voice, our tone, the way we pause, and it's called paraverbal. And then 55% is our nonverbal, which is body movement, our facial expressions, the way we act, and just doing whatever little motions we might have to convey what we're saying. And in fact, if I were to say something like, I love you, versus I love you, versus I love you, 3 same words, but they all have a different meaning based on my tone and my actions. And tonight we're going to do that where we can kind of not understand, for the most part, what you're going to be hearing, but you'll be able to see what the speakers are saying. And with 3 of our guests from other countries, I've asked them to answer a table topic. So I'm going to give them the same question in their native language. And if anybody can understand what all 3 of them say, you get a gold star. Because they're all from different regions. And it's going to be interesting to hear what they say, but you're going to have to watch their facial expressions, how they act, listen to their tone. And I'm going to start with our very own Bulut. And there he is down there. Bulut is from Turkey, and he's going to answer in Turkish. And my question, and for Madam Timer, these are 1 to 2 minutes, so if you want to time them, that would be great. My question to Bulut is, what was more difficult for you? Leaving your home country that you loved, leaving opportunities, school, leaving friends and family, or coming to a new country and starting over, making new friends, making a new life? Blue.
Teşekkürler David ve buradaki arkadaşlarımız. Bugün size bu konuda konuşmak için çok heyecanlıyım. Çünkü dediğimin hiçbir şeyi anlamıyorsunuz. İnanılmaz bir şekilde hiçbir şey anlamıyorsunuz. Bu tarafta bu ülkede kalmak var. Bu tarafta Amerika'da olmak var. Kendi ülkemde olmak inanılmaz güzel. Yemekleri güzel, kokusu güzel, insanları güzel. Ama bazen anlamıyorsun. Bazen yükselmeye çalışıyorsun, olmuyor. Buraya geldiğin zaman, Amerika'ya geldiğin zaman burada çok fazla fırsat var. Ve bu fırsatların içinde yükselmek çok daha kolay. Ama burada da ırkçılık var. İnsanlara bakıp, rengine bakıp onları sevmeyebiliyor. Bu zor. Ve böyle olduğu için emin değilim. Buraya da gidebilirim, buraya da gidebilirim. Ama ben şimdi buradayım. Ve bu yüzden kalbim burada. Teşekkürler. David, sana geri dönüyoruz.
Thank you, Toastmaster Blute. That was very interesting. I'm not sure what word to use. It was, I could feel what you were saying, just in understanding, and that was the object of tonight, is to feel what you're saying. It's just paint the words instead of actually saying them. And next up, from Colombia, is our member, Angelica. And Angelica, I would like to ask you the same question. She, of course, will be speaking in Spanish, being from Colombia. What was more difficult, leaving your home country, leaving your family and friends, or coming to America and starting all over? Everybody, welcome Angelica.
Gracias, David. ¿Qué fue más difícil? Hace 25 años, cuando dejé Colombia, era joven, estaba súper emocionada de irme a otro país, de las experiencias que iba a vivir. Dejar mi país y empezar una vida nueva no fue difícil para mí. Era una nueva experiencia, era joven, no tenía nada que me atara, estaba lista para irme. Dejar a mi familia, dejar a mi gente, a mi país, eso fue muy duro. aún no es. Cada vez que voy y vuelvo es muy duro decir adiós. Ahora, si tú me preguntas, mi vida está hecha acá. Si me dices cuál es más difícil, es más difícil dejar mi vida ahora, porque ya tengo mis hijos, mi esposo, mi vida formada, que decir adiós a mi familia. Aunque siempre será difícil decir adiós, es más fácil estar atada a mi vida ya hecha aquí, que decir adiós a mi familia. Gracias, David.
Gracias, Angelica. I understood some of the words, being from Miami and my ex-wife being Cuban. I picked up on a few, but she always used a lot of different words when we were fighting and arguing. So I appreciate the ones you used. And then finally, one of our friends, because we have two, one of our friends from Iran. Where did she go? Is she still here? Oh, she's down in the corner. Parissa, who is our Vice President of Education. Yes, from Iran. Same question for you, Parissa. Which was more difficult for you? Leaving your home country, leaving your family and friends and opportunities, or coming to America, starting over and learning a different culture? Everybody, please welcome Parissa.
خیلی ممنون. Madam, sorry, I'm confused. I'm not used to speaking first. خیلی ممنون دیوید. چیزی که برای من خیلی سخت بود وقتی کشورم رو ترک کردم، اولین چیزی که برام خیلی سخت بود دلتنگی خانواده بود و اینکه عادت داشتم به اینکه همه دور و برم فارسی حرف بزنن، ولی اینجا که اومدم همه انگلیسی صحبت میکنن و این یکم غریبه. احساس غریبی میکردم اینجا وقتی اومدم. چیز دیگه که خیلی دلم تنگ شد و خیلی سخت بود غذای ایرانیه که اینجا اصلا غذای ایرانی، طعم غذای ایرانی خیلی متفاوته و اینجا اون رو نمیتونی پیدا کنی. چیزی که اینجا خیلی برام سخت بود اولش که اومده بودم صحبت کردن و معاشرت کردن با آدم‌ها، به خاطر فرهنگ متفاوتشون نمیدونستم چجوری با آدم‌ها ارتباط برقرار کنم و هنوزم فکر میکنم این برای من یه دغدغه است. به خاطر همین کلاس توستمستر رو شرکت میکنم و فکر میکنم همه اینا آیتمایی بود که میتونستم بهش اشاره کنم. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Parissa. Thank you for sharing that. And Madam Timer, our other Iranian, if you'd like to give, I think everybody qualified, but if you'd like to give your response in Iranian, that would be fine, or English, whatever you're comfortable with. Madam Timer.
Yes, I can give my response, but no one is timing me. That's right.
No, you're just giving a timer's report.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. خب منم همینطور وقتی که از ایران اومدم اول همین مشکل رو داشتم، ولی کلا از اول دوست داشتم تو کشور خارجی زندگی کنم، با مردم متفاوت، فرهنگ‌های متفاوت آشنا بشم. به هر حال هر فرهنگی چیزای خاص خودشو داره، هر کدوم نقاط ضعف و قوت. خوبیش اینه که آدم میتونه چیزای خوب رو از فرهنگ‌های مختلف بگیره. به خاطر همین از لحاظ غذا من خیلی مشکلی نداشتم، به خاطر اینکه خودم معمولا همیشه خونه غذا درست میکنم. تنها چیزی که آدم اینجا دلتنگش میشه همون دلتنگ خانواده هست و به هر حال فامیل و اینا، که اونم هر چند وقت یه بار آدم میتونه برنامه بذاره بره و بیاد. ولی روی هم رفته من فکر میکنم زندگی کردن اینجا با ایران از لحاظ جمع جبریش آدم حساب کنه یه جوره، ولی هر کدومش بسته به انتخاب هر کدوم، بسته به سلیقه هر کسی. یه نفر اینجا رو میپسنده، یه نفر ایران رو میپسنده. ولی به هر حال من خوشحالم که در اینجا هستیم و زندگی میکنیم. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mia. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Now, I am a little disappointed. I was expecting somebody to cry. I mean, you're moving from another country. I think I saw Balut do some tear thing, but I was really expecting somebody to break down and cry, the thought of leaving their native country and coming here. But I just want to thank everybody for sharing your language and your culture with us and your emotions. I think it was a very good exercise. I think a lot of us just kind of felt what they were saying, and that's part of the nonverbal communication, just being able to see and feel what everyone says. And let's see if I'm going to miss anything. I just thought this was kind of interesting. I was looking up the different languages, and based on population or number of people that speak it, Chinese, of course, is number 1. Spanish is number 2. English is 3. Turkish comes in at number 13, and Iranian/Persian, how do you say it? Okay, is number 25. So I was surprised at how many people speak the different languages. That's very interesting. And everybody qualifies, and it's going to take me a minute to do the poll, but I will do that, and I will turn it back over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Great, thank you so much, Toastmaster Jones. That was really interesting. That was a great idea. I had a lot of fun. I find listening to different languages very interesting. I struggle to learn languages, so I definitely, everyone that is bilingual, trilingual, multilingual, you guys are my heroes. Congratulations, that's an amazing skill. So thank you so much. Let's move on to the evaluation portion of our meeting tonight. To kick off the evaluation, let's welcome our general evaluator with the new haircut, Toastmaster Joel Boulos.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I will be the evaluator for tonight. I'll first begin with introducing each evaluator for each speech, followed by our grammarian. Then I will go through an overall evaluation of our meeting. Our first evaluator is Parissa. Please welcome again, Parissa, our Vice President of Education.
Thank you, Joel. Natalie, you did a very good and well organized speech tonight. And these are my notes for you. You excelled at standing and being very well prepared for your speech, and starting your speech with a very good energy and very good confidence. You did a great job connecting with audience and asking them questions and make them prepared to listen to your speech. You had a great body language when you were explaining your communication style. And I very much enjoyed that you used personal example and experience for relating to the content of your speech. And if you want to challenge yourself, I would suggest that you improve your pauses and tones between different sections of speech and add more vocal variety to make it more interesting. But in general, it was an awesome, interesting speech. You did a fantastic job, and your speech was very clear. You had awesome engagement with audience, and you were very comfortable. Thank you, Joel. Back to you, Joel.
Thank you, Parissa. Our next evaluator, I believe, is Ollie for Turker's speech. Is that correct? All right, everyone, welcome back, Ollie.
Well, Turker, I'd like to first say your speech was very great, sir. Come on, man, you gotta take me serious. You gotta take me serious. You had a very great speech. I like how you always tell stories in all your speeches, and it relates back to you. You set a topic for all of us to think about, and then you set the story. I like how you formatted your story about And I like how you put the future thoughts in our heads of thinking what your game plan was before you sat down and negotiated the deal. That was my favorite part of the story. I also like how you mentioned how you went back and you thought, what if I can get more? And you came back and you actually got something better than you thought. So I really like how you organized the story, because I liked how you said at the beginning that you had a game plan and that you knew that you couldn't just go in there and just ask for anything because the answer was going to be no. But when you sat down with her, you knew the answer was going to be no the first time, but you had a backup plan for her objection. So that tells me that you were studying real hard because you knew the objection was going to come. So I like that part of the story also. I also like how you included your friend in there, because you brought another person in with your experience showing how you were trying to benefit from the both of you guys. So that was fantastic. Another good part of the story is when you mentioned how your other friends are moving away and you thought about moving away, but really you just wanted to get a lower rate on your home. So that was also fantastic. I think your story is perfect. It's a 10 out of 10. The only thing that I personally can say that I wanted to know was, who is your friend that you got all these benefits and package for also?
That's my girlfriend.
Some way, somehow, you can involve him in the next speech. Just bring him out of this 4 minutes a minute speech and be like, and here he is. And here he is. That's the only thing that I want to know. And I feel like that would make the speech go from a 10 to 1,000.
Thank you, Ollie. And that was a great evaluation. Now to our third evaluator. We have Natalie, who was also our first speaker. Everyone, welcome again, Natalie.
Thank you, Joel. Ollie, it's always a pleasure to hear you speak. You are inspiring and motivational, and you bring that to the table each time. I definitely felt a general sense of positivity, and I always want to get up and go do something and like conquer the world after I hear you speak. I loved your use of slides. I thought that that was creative, and I feel like everyone is raising the bar. I know David gave us the challenge to raise our standards in 2021. So tonight with video from Elise and your use of slides, I think everyone is rising to the occasion, certainly. I thought that the incorporation of slides was great. I got to see some of your role models, which was inspiring, and to also hear from a credible source, which I think enhanced your speech. I also noticed that you're implementing the feedback week over week that you were given. So you didn't have your chair today, because I know in the past there's been spinning. So you were actually like in place, which I was like, this is great, in tandem with the slides. And I know it's difficult on technology, but if we were live, I know you probably would have stood for that and had the presentation behind you. So I think you did a really great job bringing it to life, given the constraints on Zoom. I thought perhaps on some of the slides, you could have, the one where you asked us specifically about fear, and then you had the definition of fear, three different definitions. I would encourage you to maybe have a blank slide and then use that as an opportunity for audience engagement. So what is fear? And then open it up to people to give you their response or what they may think before you move forward into that topic, and then dive into the definition. And then I liked, again, all of the examples that you used. I do think that it would be amazing, because you are inspirational as a speaker yourself, to have a balance of a bit of your voice. I was craving a little bit more Ali in between, like the Les Browns and Kobe's of the world. I thought it was also very smart and relevant to give a nod to Kobe's passing today. It was very timely. Enjoyed your tangible takeaways, again, from the podcast to the reading, to go take action. And I felt like you're really harnessing your energy in a positive way, because you have that natural motivation, energy, and tone. And I just want to go take over the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Can we get a timers report on our evaluators, Mina? And this time in English, please.
Yes. Yes. Teresa, she had her evaluation in 1 minute and 38 seconds. Ali for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And Natalie at 2 minutes and 49 seconds.
Thank you, Mina. And now I will pass it to our grammarian, Angelica. Everybody, welcome Angelica.
Okay, sorry, I was unmuting myself. Thank you. Tonight, I think that we all have using similar words that we have, we should not be using. Sorry. So Julian is and one time. David sometimes is just so bad, but just one time that I could catch them. Liz, a you know, and one so I got. Oh, David used the word of the night, so I got you there. Mina has a couple of and yeah, a couple of and well. Natalie has an couple of times, or actually few more, multiple times, I would say 4 times. And so couple of times, and Natalie also used the word of the night. Darker, you have a like, but you have the ones that you have the most is so and. I got many of those, like in between your connections, a lot of so, or finish your sentence with so that so, I just said it. A couple of bad, and you also use the word of the night. Ali, you got it, you know, a couple of times, you use it 3 or 4 times, and also so, multiple times. And sometimes you use the bad connection. And then one time you say it is going twice, you repeat it twice. Joel, I just got a Carissa gets a lot of and multiple arms. And Angelica has multiple mistakes too. So, so that's it. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Back to you.
Thank you, Angelica. I feel that when you are a grammarian, you're almost like a statistician collecting all the mistakes of everyone making the filler words or saying or messing up in their English grammar. I once did it and I felt like I was ready to pull out Minitab and start making a data analysis of how we all performed. Overall, the meeting went well. The positive is most of the roles were full. There was a slight last minute change, but we were able to fulfill that. And the one thing I will say is we've definitely increased in attendance overall since I was here a few weeks ago. I have a lot going on myself personally, but the few things we could improve on, one is time. We're definitely over when we're supposed to end. The other thing we could do some improvement on is getting a little more interaction for our guests. I felt that we were a little quiet with our guests. But overall, like I did like the theme of the table topics that David brought up, with each of us hearing a different language. I know one other language myself, but it's my second language, so my grammar in my second language would be pretty broken. And I don't know if I would be able to make quite the right expressions, but overall, creative idea. And I liked how Elise used a great example at the beginning. Other than that, I think the meeting overall went pretty well. I'll pass it back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Willis, for your evaluation and wrapping up all of our evaluators in your Marion report for us. David, do you have our winners for our contest tonight?
I did.
Thank you.
Want me to announce them?
Wonderful.
Because you don't know them unless I project them to you in my mind. All right. Our favorite table topics person for tonight was Toastmaster Balut. Congratulations, Balut. Our favorite evaluator tonight was Natalie. Congratulations, Natalie. And our favorite speaker of the night was Toastmaster Natalie as well. Congratulations, Natalie. And did you have anything else, Madam Toastmaster, before I start?
Only that if you have not watched the full speech from Amanda Gorman, that I definitely encourage you guys to do that. It's wonderful and amazing, just like her. Other than that, I'll wrap things up and turn things over to you to do our post toasties and everything. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. You did a great job tonight, and I did watch her live, and I thought that was a great. I was like, she's 22 and she's better than most of us, and I was like, I bet she never went to Toastmasters. I think a lot of people just are natural born speakers like Amanda was. And
so really interesting. I heard an interview with her, and she had fairly severe speech impediments until very recently. So she has had to, like, she used to have to change her poems when she was reciting them aloud because she couldn't pronounce a lot of letters like R's. So she had to change her poems before she'd read them because she was semi-unintelligible. So she's amazing. Good for her.
it was awesome. And Joel, doing his general evaluation, did touch on it. Whenever we have guests, we usually have them participate in the table topics, but tonight was just a special table topics. But if you all come back in the future, you will most likely be called on to give a speech for 1 to 2 minutes based on a silly question like, what's your favorite movie and why? Or what was your favorite vacation? Just to kind of engage you like we should have, but just tonight we wanted to try something a little different. And in regards to our guest, Harry, based on tonight's international speech, could you tell us what your name is, just for compare and contrast, I guess, from Harry to what it is? And I also appreciate you participating tonight and just giving shout outs to all the speakers. And your thoughts on tonight's meeting.
My name is Hariharan Swaminathan. People in Texas call me Harihan. They miss RA in between. I can't figure out why. So about tonight, I really did not have any expectation. I have been hearing Toastmasters for the past 8-9 years. I never had a clue what's going on here. It seems to be extremely well organized. It was very great to see all the speakers and how much preparation went on. Everybody had a topic that it was very content rich. I was observing more of what's going on. I didn't know where to. I don't know if it was distracting that I was typing in the chat. Apologize, but I'm very excited to be part of it and learn from everybody. It seems to be a very like-minded group. I felt like I wasted 9 years of my time not joined, so I'm glad I'm here.
All right, thank you, Harry. Appreciate it. And for the guests, everybody that spoke tonight is a role that you could sign up for, whether it's speaker, timer, general evaluator, and all of those roles is kind of how you start your public speaking, is just doing each one of the roles. And Liz, do you have any feedback or comments on tonight's meeting? And you're muted, which is the 2021 word.
Sorry about that. No, I mean, this was really good for me. I had heard of Toastmasters before, but didn't really have any expectations coming into it either. And it's a great group of people and a great way to gain confidence and, do better at public speaking. Okay. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. And Kara, and the cold Wisconsin snow, your thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this was great being here. Thank you for having me. I had attended a couple of Toastmasters events probably 20 years ago at this point. I was interning at a company and I was there for the summer, so I attended a couple of their Toastmasters, but I haven't been since, and this was fantastic. This was just a really great group for sure, and I definitely would love to come back.
Well, thanks, and you're always welcome. Laura, any thoughts? She's our school teacher, although Elisa's mom is a school teacher, so it's kind of inbred in her, but any thoughts as a school teacher?
Well, I really enjoyed being here tonight, and I enjoyed the different languages, especially because in school, even though I have second graders, talking with the parents and they're always struggling because a lot of them don't speak English. I enjoy that because we work together, and I tell them, well, I don't speak Spanish well, but I'm willing to try. And then I realized as soon as I removed the fear, they really want to communicate more. And just like their children, there's no limit, and I can reach the stars with them. So you really brought that to me tonight, listening to our speakers and listening to them speak in other languages and telling stories that I can identify with. And it was very enjoyable. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And finally, Travis, next week, you're going to be #1 on our table topics because we enjoy engaging you. You've been here a few times. Any thoughts from you tonight?
No, not anything negative. I always enjoy coming and doing the table topics with you guys, and I don't have anything negative to say. You guys are always well managed and it's ran efficiently. So good job to everybody.
Thank you much. Appreciate it. And just real quick, an announcement. Our meeting on February 16th is going to be the spring speech contest. If you're a member, you're able to enter it at the club level. The only qualification for the prepared speech, which is 5 to 7 minutes, which is considered Toastmasters International speech, you have to have completed 6 speeches, which is level 2 of the pathways. But if you haven't done that, it's also going to be a table topics contest, and you just have to be a paid member to compete. So we're going to be doing that. That's going to be a different type of meeting. It won't be a regular meeting because it's just going to be a contest of people. And the only thing I was kind of confused, but we can send 2 different people, one that won table topics and one that won the speech contest to the next level. But there's also a possibility that the same person wins both, because I've seen that before, just depending on how good you are, if you want to try out for both of them or just one. And do any of the other officers have anything to mention? I also forgot to mention, I realized Natalie is also our Vice President of Education. So when I was introducing everybody, I forgot to mention her. Yes, Natalie.
Wait, of PR, but I do want to share something. So if you don't already follow us on social media, please do so on either Instagram or Facebook, working on additional channels for the future. But right now, Instagram and Facebook, and it's at Queen City Toastmasters, and we share updates for our meetings there. So if for any reason you aren't able to attend and you want to check out if we're doing like a special theme or if the meeting's still happening, we are posting on there. So just check us out at Queen City Toastmasters.
Can I share something also?
Sure, Al.
Yes. If you want to join the club and have a life-changing experience that will bring you to a life of abundance, the things you never thought would happen ever in your life, please feel free. You can drop your email or your cell phone number below, and I'll send you some notifications about the group. David, please, I hope that I'm right while saying this. I have this on my phone. To join the club is $22.50 for Toastmasters International. Am I correct on that, David? And $22 for joining the club in January. It's a total of $42.50. I believe I'm correct on that, guys. I always mess that up. Laura, feel free to tell some of your students to join. This can change their lives also. And just hit me up and we can make wonderful things happen in the year 2021.
Yeah. Thank you much. And I think that's it. Unless anybody has anything else, we will call it a night. We are usually trying to be done by 7:30. But with 3 speakers, it was a little difficult. But thank you. And I hope everybody comes back next Tuesday. Good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
David, may I have a question?
Good night.
I'm sorry, who was that?
It's me.
Oh, Nina. Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to sign for the icebreaker, but all the spots were filled. So do you have any idea?
I do have an idea.
Okay, so
Everybody's trying to get their 6 speeches in before the contest, which is what I just say, February, blah, blah, blah, February 16. I think, Ollie, did you get 6 tonight or no?
So today is my 4th one. So I'm probably gonna have to go somewhere else to do 2 more.
Well, the other club reached out to me that you can do it on Thursday night. They're not this Thursday, but probably next Thursday. So you can do it. But after though everybody qualifies, then we will make space for you. And I'm going to talk to the board about making sure that we want to encourage, you to be able to do your icebreaker.
Is this the end of the meeting? I thought there was an extension.
7:50 almost.
I thought we were having a board meeting after this. Okay.
And because I found out the hard way, but your icebreaker is, I believe, 4 to 6 minutes, not 5 to 7. Shorter.
For icebreaker 4 to 6 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, I had practiced 5 to 7. And I got up and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to cut something out because I had.
Let me see. For the icebreaker, it's not the same as prepare the speech.
Right. It's your first one, and you can talk about anything you want to. Usually, you talk about your personal life or just something that you feel comfortable talking about. It's anything.
So, and the prepare the speech is 4 to 6 minutes too, or no? They are 5 to 7.
Yeah, everything 5 to 7.
Just the icebreaker.
Just
okay.
Make it to that finish line quicker.
All right. So then you will let me know that whenever I can have it.
Right. Yeah. Are you ready? Or so if we sign you up in a few weeks, you'll be ready?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'll make sure we make room.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Bye-bye.